Parabola. Go ahead, try it. Great job. Yep, today we're gonna make a parabola. Here's a picture of what one looks like. You're looking at all the dictionary pages that have words with the Greek root para in them. Remember when we talked about the word triangle and we looked at that part tri? That's a Greek or Latin root for 3, and we brainstormed words that have that Latin root in it: triangle, triceratops, tricycle, and we realized that that's a clue to help us figure out the meaning of a word. If it has tri, it probably has 3 of something. Just like the word parabola has para. So anytime you have words that have that group of letters in it, maybe there's some kind of meaning that's something like beside or next to. A parachute, I don't know, maybe it's because you wear it right next to you. Parasite, living side by side maybe. So any words that you can think of that have that para, you can add them in the comments and we can see how many words that we come across that have para in them. The math definition that we're going to use today is a cone split by a plane. Not the kind of plane that flies. The best visual is think of a piece of paper. Let's say I cut the cone. The definition says if I cut cone with a plane. Okay, so I've cut it. If I cut the cone with a plane, then I will have the parabola. See how it's actually a curve? That's what we're going to be drawing on paper, curves. Parabola curves. We're going to use only straight lines to draw them. So a place that you might think of parabola on the planet, in your life, if you kick a soccer ball up in the air, it's going to follow a curve. So anything that falls due to gravity is likely to follow a parabolic curve. So anytime you throw a basketball, soccer ball, probably softball, anything that you throw, if you throw something up in the air, it's gonna follow that curve and come back down again. So how does the parabola change if I have a tall, skinny cone? So if you imagine kicking a ball straight up into the air instead of just kicking it across the field, the parabolic curve would change. So it looks a little bit more like a triangle. I don't think my cone is perfect, but as you can see, if you have a tall, skinny cone, have a tall, skinny parabola. What would happen if you had a short, fat cone? Also, if you cut the cone in different places, will you find different parabolas? So remember, the parabola is that curve that happens when you cut a cone with a plane. So as you can see here, they're similar, but this one would be smaller. Materials, you're going to want some paper. Any kind of paper will do. You're going to want a pencil, a ruler or straight edge. A ruler would be better if you have it because you can line up intervals. Markers are always fun. These are really fun to color. So if you get into making some artwork, then you can color them in. Guess we're gonna go get started. You wanna start with straight lines as your base. Probably wanna measure them. But we'll have a square angle, okay? 90-degree right angle, square angle. I'm going to mark them, the starting point and every centimeter. You can use whatever distance you want, just keep it consistent. So now you can see I have evenly spaced dots along 2 straight lines, And the next part is really just following a pattern. If I were to number them 1 and 1, I'm skipping this one down here, and 2 and 2, 3 and 3. If I go one at a time, that's how I'm going to start to make the pattern. So I'm going to line up dot 1 with dot 1, dot 2 with dot 2, dot 3 with dot 3. Centimeters are a little small with the Sharpie, but you might see that it's starting to form a curve. I'm going to keep following that pattern all the way to the end. So any 2 straight lines will work. If you think you have trouble working with a ruler or really fine details, instead of putting the dots a centimeter apart, you probably want to space them out farther. So you probably want to start with maybe an inch. Here's one I'm putting just 4 inches. And then I'm going to do the same over here because you want to have the same, to follow that pattern, you want to have the same amount of dots pretty much. So again, if this is 1 and this is 1, then those are the 2 points that I would connect. And then you just go to the next, following 1 point at a time. So you just basically go 1 point at a time. I think they look really fun with a checkered coloring pattern, especially if you get into more detail. It really sort of brings that shape to life. So there's some examples. So what if you didn't use a 90-degree angle? What if you used an acute angle? How would that change the curve that's formed? So what if I split the 90-degree angle approximately down the middle? You can see the curve is different, right? This is a much flatter curve. This is a sharper curve. So what if I started putting these parabolas together to make a design? So what if I do the same design on this side? What if we put together 4 quadrants and repeated that design 4 times from the central point? So these are just some ideas you can try. I can't wait to see what you post on the thread.